Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. It's always a sad day when we have a model coming to an end, and as you can see by my t-shirt here, I'm going to be ending today the Agora Models / Hachette Partworks release of Build Giga's Alien. And as if like magic, a pair of legs appears. Now, obviously, we've done the head, we've done the arms, we've done the legs. We're going to just finish now the torso section of the alien. I believe we're going to be putting the electrics in, and then we're going to be having this all singing, all dancing. And I've got the tail behind me just here. I don't know how far I'm going to be able to get into this before I won't be able to film into the workshop anymore. I'm going to have to probably take it outside. I haven't really thought that far ahead yet because this model is absolutely ginormous. It's never going to fit on this desk. Even though this desk goes up and down, never in a million years going to fit on the desk. We'll see how far we get. Now, if you want to get this for yourself, it is available for Agora Models in the US, and I believe it's still available from Hachette Partworks in the UK, but I have put a link in the video description, and there's also a QR code on the screen. But for the very last time for this build, let's get cracking. So it's all going to start on this pack with stage 93, and in stage 93 we are going to be doing the Thorax. So I've got some details here, and this looks like part of the base here. And it looks like what we're going to do first is take these two sections here, and quite simply they're going to go together like that, which means we need these connectors again, which I'm just going to be pushing into each side of this one here. They're held in with these black screws, and then put these on this side, and two more of the black screws to hold these in. So that's looking like that. I can put that to one side, and I'm guessing we're now going to be in a position to start building the base. Now the base does use a different kind of screw here, which is slightly longer, of a flatter top looking like this. And I'm going to be putting these plates in. Now these plates go in this way round, one there, and also one on this side. Just pushing that all the way down, and they're held in with two of these screws each side. So I'm guessing every stage now, right to the end stage, we're probably going to have a little bit of base to do each time. But with this piece here and this piece, that's the end of that stage. So stage 94, again, all of the stages come in these brown bags. Again, two sets of screws, so I need to know what set of screws I'm using. And this is pretty much a mirror of what we just did. We're actually just going to be putting this part of the Thorax together. So this is going to be going on there like that. Again, we need tabs in each section, and the screw bag here, which has got 5 screws in it, even though we're only going to use 4 of them, and get these in. And there you go, that's that side completed. And then once again, just like last time, using the other screws again, we're going to be putting this plate in that side, this plate in this side, and then 2 of these screws each side here to hold these in. All we've got to do then is take these 2 sections, and we're actually going to be pushing these together, just like this. A bit tricky, but it will go in. And 2 more screws each side here, just to hold that into place. So the base is now starting to grow. And that is now looking like that. That's all there is to do in that stage. In stage 95, still working on the Thorax and base. Again, 2 different kinds of screws. But this time we're going to start with the base. So where we had this connector that we got here, I'm just going to now put the other side, which is closing this end off now. It's actually going to be going in this way here. So it's looking like that. extending this out to 3 plates now. I want the bag of screws with the fewest amount of screws in this time to actually just put another plate in here. And screw that down. So 2 there, and then just 2 to link this to the previous plate we put in. And there you go, that's what the base is looking like. It's growing. It's growing certainly big. Now this is the rib assembly that we created in pack 6, I believe. What I need to do is now separate what we've just created here, which does mean I just need to take this middle section out here. None of this was in permanently anyway. And then just lift up this section just here like this. So you see, that comes out there. Now I'm going to put them just to one side and bring over this side of the thorax, because what I'm going to do now is start to put these bushes into place. So this one here is just going to be going into the holes there and there, which is creating that sort of curved section in there with this cutout on this side. Checking the fit, what we want to do is glue these into place. So I'm going to put some glue just into these sections here and here. And I am just going to put some glue just around the edges here to ensure that's going to have a strong fit in there. There we go. That's going to fit perfectly. I'm then going to be taking this side of the thorax and I'm going to be putting the lugs that we got here into the holes there. So when this goes in, it's going to fit in like that. And this is held in with the other screws, which we've got loads of in this bag, and 2 of these to hold this into place. All I'm going to do then is take the right hand rib support, which looks like that. So if these are down the bottom here, then the longer section is going to be on my left as I'm holding it like this. And I'm going to want to put these over this middle section just like that there. Now we're going to hold this in with 2 of these screws. So 1 in that side and 1 in this side here. So now that is looking pretty cool. Okay, put that to one side. I'm going to mirror exactly what I've just done. So once again, I'm going to put some glue just into these lugs here. I'll put some glue just around this edge to help hold this in. Position this into place. So that's fitting flush in there. Just like last time, I'm going to be taking the other plate. That's going to go on there like that, held in with these screws. So that's one whole piece there. And then just take the other side of the rib cage and just like last time, just going to be fitting this over the top. And then 2 screws here and here to hold that into place. So let's just have a quick review what we've done. We've obviously just done this side, the other side here, and we still have the parts that we just removed from the rib cage that are spare, but that's the end of that stage. In stage 96, continuing the thorax, and I have 2 sides here which I'm going to need to fit together, and pretty much like we've been doing for this whole build, they're going to be held together with these tabs. I'm going to get 1 in to line this up. There is a kind of lip on this right hand side one, so it sort of tells us exactly how this is going to go in, like that. Let me get that in. See, because once we've got the middle one in, it's easy to put the top one in here. When that's looking like that, we can put that to one side. We're now going to be linking together these 2 parts of the ribs that we created last time. So I want to put this plate underneath this section just like that. The other side will be doing exactly the same there. Probably best on the top camera, you can see we've got these holes in here now. And that will enable me to put this rib support in, which is going to go into these holes. So it is vital that we do make sure that's lined up. And then get this in. That now puts us in a position to put some of these tabs in the middle here to keep them together, and to screw them in again with screws each side. We just got 2 more connectors to put on the top side here, and once again 2 screws for each connector. So as you can see, that's reinforced now, and that's what the spine's looking like with the rib cage going over it there. That looks good. Now we've got a channel which is going down here. You can see that just here. I'm going to be putting this plate in to the channel, and it sort of slides in. So that sits in like that. Whoops, just popped out. And I just want to check that that's got a nice comfortable fit in there, which it has. And I'm going to take it out again. The reason I did that, because we do need to glue this into place. So again, I'm just going to put it around the edge of each side of this base. Put that back in. And ensure that's seated nice and tight in there, as you can see. Now when that plate's in, there's one other thing to do, and that is we've got these extra long screws here. They're just going to go into the 4 holes that we've got down here. That's going to help to hold that spine in. So let's get that in. Make that nice and tight. Now there's 4 of these screws to put in. So now that spine's not moving, and that is all there is to do in that stage. Now in stage 97, I'm doing some more of the thorax and the limbs, which means taking this section that we've created, I'm going to be adding on to that now by adding this section just here. And quite simply, this is just going to go over the top of that section, just like that. It's going to be held in with some of the black screws. Now there are lots of screws in this one, but the ones I want are these ones. And I need 4 screws here to keep this into place. Now that's perfect. Now this whole section here, to bring something over now, this is from the last pack. Do you remember this? We're going to be attaching this to what we've just created. Things are getting big now. I will have to zoom out some of the cameras, I think. Now if you remember, we had already put magnets into this side here. We're just going to be following the groove here that we've got. So it's going to go this way into that section. So this is going to be fitting in kind of like that there. Now if you see these holes here, you recognize these from previous times. That's where we're going to put magnets. So this time we've got 2 kinds of magnets. We've got thick ones and we've got 2 thin ones here. Now the thin ones are going into these points in the middle. Every other one's having a thick magnet. Now because of the polarity of the magnets, it's going to be dictated by the way we put them in last time. I'm just going to drop some glue into these points here and drop the thin magnets in first, and we'll see which way it's going to put them in. There you go, one there and one there. Every other one of these is going to have a thick magnet, so I'm going to put them all in now. And once again, the orientation is dictated by whatever way I put the magnets in underneath. That's 1, 2, and 3. And having to stand up for the 3 at the back here. Let's just get those last 3 in. 1, 2, 3. Now once they're in place, I can actually now just lift that section up and let those dry to that plastic base. Now I do have some bushes to put in each side. I'm guessing this is for the arms. I'm hoping it's for the arms. So quite simply, I'm going to do a dry fit again, just to check how this goes in. This one's going to be going in here, just like that. And I've got the one that's going to go on this side. Just going to check how that fits. Yep, I'm happy how that is. So I'm now going to glue those into place. So they're all glued in. Now it's time to actually zoom out these cameras as big as I possibly can, because I need the right arm. I believe this is the right arm that I've got here. I'm going to be putting this ring around the edge like that. So I've got a bush in there now. And then similar way, I've got the left arm here. Again, putting a bush around that way just there. Now these are going to be sitting into the channels just here. So I'm going to have one there. And one this side. Making sure that's flush in there. And I'm going to hold them in with these brackets over the top. So we're going to have one there and one there. So it's just a case of using these black screws to screw this into place. I can see this being a little bit fiddly. Just want to do the same to the other side. Quite fiddly to get these in, but there you go. That's this side in as well. You do want them tight, otherwise you're going to have floppy arms. Okay, now keeping it on the large camera because we've got this plate now to put in, which is going to go in here, just like this. Again, I'm doing a dry fit, but we do want to glue this into place. So, channel of glue at the bottom this side, and the same on the other side. And make sure we just put it in the right way. So it's going in this way here. Push that down. Now I'm just moving everything around because you can see that I'm now going to bring up the legs. Oh, this is fun. Let me straighten them out so he's lying flat, because they're going to go onto this center section here. I'm just going to pull the arms out just to give me some space. There you go, into that center section just there. Now we've got some really long screws here to put in, and again we're going to want these to be in quite tight. And we've got a couple of things left over. We've got this section here and this section here. It looks like I'm doing an alien autopsy, doesn't it? But that is all there is to do in that stage. Now what I'm going to have to do the next stage is I'm going to have to take this off the bench. So what I want to do now is give you an idea of how big this is actually now, because we're going to be working on the next section. Let's move on to the next stage. So I have kind of made the camera slightly closer here. I've got two wires coming out of here. This is the head section. We haven't seen this for a while. If you remember, we put a pin in the side here. I actually need to take this pin out. Just pulls out like that. And I need to turn this so that the flat edge here is facing towards the front of the head. Like that. Perfect. So just opening the parts for stage 98 here. I've got two bearings, and by the look of it, I've got a new pin as well, as you can see. I don't think it's any different to the original pin, to be honest with you, but anyway, I'll keep them separate, just so I know where they are. What's going to happen is I'm going to be putting this cup onto the shaft here. Let me just move this out of the way. So there we go, that's going to go on here. And then the two bearings will be going on either side. So one there. And then we've got another one. But what we will have is a gap in the middle for that pin to go in. So I'm just going to try and find the hole. And then the other bearing just on top there. So the pin is separating them from meeting together. Now it should point towards the front of the head. So I'm going to keep it in from the back here. And it should be fully inserted, they're saying. So what I'm going to do is get my pliers and push this right in. Now again, keeping these wires out the way, I need to put either side of this neck in. So the whole section here is facing towards the front of the head. So, this is going to be fun. So it goes in like this. So these branches that are coming out of this section here are going to go into the hole in the bottom. And everything else is going to fit the bearings in. So that's one side in. And do the same on the other side. Yeah, not the easiest thing to get in, but that's in. Perfect. So I need one of each of these black screws to put in either side. So one in there. And turn that over. And put one in this side. It is quite loose, which is what I want, because obviously this is going to move the head for us. Just put that all to one side. And I want to bring over this motor here. Zoomed up the camera a bit because I'm going to be putting one of these switches on. And the switch is going to be fitting into this indent just here. So there is a locating lug on the bottom of that, which is going to fit in there. To hold that into place, I've got a bracket here, which is going to go over the top. And again, that's held in with these black screws. Now I need to make sure that this spindle here is in the right position. At the moment it's not. So what I'm going to do is get the battery and test board. I'm going to move that around. Now we haven't seen this for some time. So I'm going to be plugging the power board here into that socket. Plug this into the 9-volt battery. And then on the bottom here I'm going to plug the motor, which is going to go into this socket. So once that's all plugged in, the position we actually want this in, we can press these buttons. You see it moves around. I want it basically in, keep turning. They've got it in sort of like a 5 o'clock position, kind of like that position just there. I'm going to disconnect that now because I have this collar to put on and I want the gap section to be between that limiter there. So make sure that this goes on like that. Bring over the head section and I'm going to want to put this into place. So the shaft of this is going down here. Now it is a D-shaped pattern. Just like this. And make sure everything else lines up perfectly there. Now once again, this is going to be held in with the black screws. And there we go. That's the motor in place. Put that to one side. And we've now got a microphone. Because this is sound sensitive. It's gonna move towards where the sound is. And I've got a sheath to put over the top of the microphone here. So that goes into that sheath just there. We bring over this part of the neck. And I'm going to feed this microphone through that section. Just like this. So it comes out here. I want the longer side to be near the base. And that's how the microphone looks when it's in. They do want it flush in there. So I pushed it all the way in. Bring over the head again. And I want to feed the wire here through this hole. So it's coming out of the hole just there. God, I did that first time. I didn't expect that, that's for sure. Pull that through. And then I can test fit this into place here. And as you can see, that's going to fit perfectly in there. They don't want me to glue this or attach it or do anything with it at the moment. Just leave it the way it is at the moment. But that's all there is to do in that stage. In stage 99, we've got the remote control, the battery, and the skull. We certainly do have a lot of things in this stage. Let's lay them all out. So the first thing I'm going to do is create the remote control. So on the bottom here, that's going to be the power button. So I'm just looking for the one with power on it. Make sure that's the correct way round. That's going to go in there. On the top, we're going to have the light. So that looks like this. That's going to go on the top there. On the left side, I've got the mouth going in. So that's that one there. And on the right side, I've got the mouth going out. That's that one there, which means the last hole is for volume or sound. Let's get that one in. Perfect. Just gonna check that they look like the picture. I've got these ones for the mouth the wrong way round. Let me just flip them round. There you go. It looks like the picture now. Perfect. Now I want to take this board, and I also want to take this battery here, which has got a terminal block on it, and I want to plug that into the socket just at the bottom here. So this connector at the bottom, we've got to slide into this section just here. There we go. That fits into the battery box just like that. Now for the one at the top, we've got two sides to put in. This is going to be tricky. Okay. So one's just going to slide into that side there. And the other one is going to slide into the other side just here. And then this board that I've got here, making sure that the wires aren't trapped anywhere, is just going to go over the top of all of that together. Just like that. Perfect. Now it's going to be held in with these black screws. Now the screws we put them in are the ones that have got 9 in the bag. And there you go, that's that in. Now, one thing I did miss out, which I'm just going to put in now, is where I put those buttons in, we also have a little LED light here, which is going to be going in there like that. Then it's just a case of piecing both of these together. So this is going to go on top like this here. Perfect. Make sure the buttons press. You can see the light there, that's looking good. And again, the rest of the screws that we used to put the circuit board in, just to screw this cover on. Now this is going to be using AAA batteries, but that's the control box all working, making sure everything clicks. Put some batteries in here. Just check when I turn it on that the power comes on, which it does. So that's perfect. That's the remote control box done. Now I'm just making space because I've got to bring the alien up again. Hopefully you can see that because I'm about to put a circuit board in. Circuit board's just going to go into these positions just here like that. This time they're held in with the other black screws that we've got. They're the ones in this bag. And it's 4 screws to hold this into place. Now I've got another 2 microphones here, which are on these leads. Once again, I'm going to be pushing these into these sockets here. So one there, and one on this side, like that. Now once they're on, we're going to be putting these in. Now there is some holes in the top of the shoulder here. Hopefully you can see that just on the side camera. These are going to go in here, just like this. And they're going to plug this one into one next to the large plug. So let me just get this in. That one's in there. And do exactly the same on the other side. There's a hole in the side here, which will enable me to chase this lead down and plug this into this side. Perfect. Then they're not telling me at this stage how to seat these tubes into the shoulder, so I'm going to put them in how I think they go. Now I've got this switch to put in. This is just going to go into the socket just here, so I can push that in from the back. Bring that up. Make sure it's round so that the pins are closest to this arm here. Just going to push that in. There we go, that's into place. It actually plugs into this port just here. I then have this light. That's going to plug into the smaller port just here. Now I just need to get some batteries for this battery box. Now these take AA batteries, and to plug this in, well, again, we want to feed this through the back side. There's a hole here for this lead to come out of. Just like that, and plug this into this battery port here. And then when you turn this over, I'm going to do ever so gently. You can see the battery box here will then fit into that little indent just like that. Now we've got cables here. They are labelled. Look, J5, J7, J4, J6 and J10. And we've got an extension cable here as well. So I've just moved the alien away to bring up the alien head here. Now if you look at the back here, we've got a very short cable. This one here. This is the cable I'm going to be putting the extension lead in. So line up the like for like poles and just push that in. Now if I just let you know what all of these cables are. J6 is the head motor, J7 is the limit switch, J10 is the neck mic, J5 is the mouth motor, and J4 is the head LED. So these are all kind of like extension cables for the head. So bringing this back up one more time, I'm going to plug all of these in. So J10 is going into the middle socket. J6 is the head motor, and that's going to go into this larger socket on my left. J5 is my mouth motor, and that's going on the large socket on the right. J4 is the head LED, that's going onto this socket right at the end here. And then finally J7 is going in the last available socket here, and that's for the limit switch. Now this is something I can't really show you on camera, but what I'm going to do, again, alien autopsy time, I'm going to be putting the head right next to these cables, and I'm going to be connecting every single one of these up to what I've just described them here. And once they're all done, we're going to do a test, and that's going to be in the next stage. So what I'll do now is connect all of these wires to these points here. So I am aware it's looking like an alien autopsy, as I mentioned earlier, but what you need to do now is test all the electrics. So I have got everything plugged in. I have tested the electrics. I'm not going to show you that now because I don't want to tease the end result for you. But just so you know, this is the light for the head. This makes the jaw go in and out. And this speaker here turns the microphones on and off so that the head can move in the direction of the sound. But I have strapped this just at the back as well, just to keep that together. But I'm now at the situation where I can actually start putting everything together. Okay, so now it's all been tested. Don't worry too much about these wires at the moment, because all we're going to do is just shove them in there, because what we're going to do is now just put this rib cage over the top here. So it's just a case of sort of like putting it at this sort of angle, because we just want to get by the hips here and then teasing it either side to get this into place. As you can see, I'm wiggling things around just to get that in there. And that is the rib cage in place. Now what I want to do is I want to stand this whole thing up. I can no longer use the desk here. Now another mistake that I've just realised I've made, these microphones that are coming out either side, I've got them in the wrong holes. They actually go out the holes at the side here. So I'm just going to change them around now. So that's now the breastplate on. It's just a case of feeding all the wires in here now, gently parting the top to put the head in. So the head sort of sits on top, and that front throat section, which had the microphone in it, which I'm just leaving to hang out for a second, is what's going to hold that into place. So let's get this in. There is a tiny lip that's going to go over each side, so one there. And there we go, that's that side in there. Then I can push this throat section in. Perfect, and that is the head in place. Now we have these sections here, which are going to be going over the shoulders. Again, this is just a push in. So one. Actually, I think this one goes in this side. Yep, that's better. And with those in, that's what that's looking like. Now, as you can see, it's looking pretty cool, isn't it? Wow. Okay. Now I've just turned this round, and I'm going to put the battery box just in this area that I showed earlier on. but I've got 4 screws just to put into these holes here. These are the black screws. I'll do that now. Now, when those screws are in, obviously the back section can go on with magnets, because this is all magnified here, but that's the end of that stage. So when it comes to the base, we've already created this. I'm going to be creating the same sort of thing on this side here, which means I need all the parts for that. And I am just going to build all of this together following pretty much what we did last time. So now that's all in, I've got this great big metal plate here, which is just going to go on top of this section here, slides all the way down, and I'm securing this one in with 4 8mm screws, which means now I'm going to be bracing each side here with these angular sections here. So one there, and one here. And again, these are the same 8mm screws. Now when those are in, I've got some more brackets here, one going in there like that, one going in here like that, and one bridging the center like that. These are shorter than the other ones we had, so now I need to put these in, which leaves the last 2 to do, these 2 long ones here that are just going to go here and here, so I'll get them in as well. I've got 2 screws left to do it. I'm telling you that was exhausting. I don't know how many screws we put in here, but it's a lot. But once I put this last screw in, I can actually just put this base temporarily on the floor, because there's a couple more things just left to do now, and that is to put the posts together here. So this one goes inside and we clip it into that one like that. On the top here, we're going to be adding the bracket, which is going to help to hold the alien. So one side in there and the other side just over the top here. Piece them both together, and it is just a clipping. Just looking at how that fits, it fits really strong. They want us to glue it, but I think if I was to break that apart now, I think I'm going to weaken the pins there, so I may glue that later on, but that's in place. And with that done, it's time to actually put the alien on the base. So this supports the tail. I've got this section here to add in as well. I've got the back little tendrils, whatever they are, and I've got the tail up there, and I've got this to put on the head. Now, there's no room in here to do that, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move everything outside, put the alien together, so you can see exactly how this looks. So I've got the base here. The dogs are interested to see exactly what I've got here. So there's the base. And I'm going to be putting in this section here, which is going to support the tail. Right, this beast here is the alien. Mrs. Welder Wayne's filming at the moment as she's shaking her head. So we're now going to be putting the stuff on the back. So this is magnetic. So the back will be going on like that. That's magnetic. I've then got another tendril which slots into here, kind of like that. And then this ginormous tail, which will be going in here. That's what that looks like. But I've got to put his headpiece on as well. So let me get that on. So the headpiece is just going to go over the top here, and I'm going to clip that on now. You don't glue this in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get Mrs. Welder Wayne to hold this so I can show you how it works. So I've got my lovely helper here just to give you an idea of size. That is how big it looks next to Mrs. Welder Wayne. So what I'm going to do is turn it on, kind of show you how this works. So it starts by doing a bit of a calibration there, as you can see, and moving its head around. So what I'm going to do is going towards noises, which we've got out here. This is the remote, turn it on, and stand by. It's just turning the other way now. Okay, right, here we go. So, whoops, that's his mouth coming out, and its mouth going in. You have lights in here which are pretty hard to see. I'm going to try and show you that when it's indoors. Can you see them coming on and off?
Yeah, at the back.
And then finally we can turn the speaker on and get Esther to talk.
Hello. Hello.
Hang on.
Hello.
There you go, the dogs have actually set it off. So it's moving its head towards the sound. Now this is freaking Esther out, isn't it? She doesn't like it. It's going to go into the house. But there you go, that is the finished alien. Now I probably will epoxy that tail in, because the tail is ginormous. I do want to keep it in place. And I'm going to think of a good pose to have this in. But as you can see, everything works. I do like how it corresponds to noise. I do like how the the jaws come out and closed, as you can see. Pretty scary. What do you think of that?
It's horrible.
And as promised, that's what it looks like when the light's on. Pretty cool. So there you go, that's another build completed. I hope you like that little showcase there. I will epoxy that tail in, I think. It will fit lovely on that stand, but it is very loose in the back of the alien, so a bit of epoxy is going to sort that out. I like this model because it freaks Mrs. Worldaway out. Brought a big smile to my face. I'm hoping it made you laugh too, but when I took the back off here, I did drop this, so I'm having to just glue one of the tendrils back in. Other than that though, it was a successful build, so I'm pretty happy with that. And I really hope you like that build series for Alien. Now it is available, as I said, through Hachette Partworks and Agora Models in the US. Links in the video description, but I really hope you like that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.